My cat's puking. I think he's done. That's the kind of day I'm having. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we're going to travel. We're going to travel all over today because I'm cooking. My cat's puking. And now he's just sitting there staring at it like, what is that? All right, I hope I'm in the right group. Let me look. We're going to travel. We're traveling all over today. So like I said, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing all kinds of things. Jeremy is off tonight. His schedule changed for like training and junk like that. So then that messes my schedule up because I'm used to him being gone all evenings. And I can get a lot. I'm more of like, because he's a second shifter, I'm more of a second shifter because we spend time together in the morning before he goes to work. And then I work while he's at work. Well, when his schedule changes, it kind of changes my schedule. So just making sure I'm in the right spot. I think I am. But who knows? Who knows after? I'm telling you, as soon as I hit the live button, Cookie, my cat, was like, ooh, ooh. Cheers. Oh, he's at it again. Third time's a charm, I take it. All right, we're in the right group. So, we are going to talk about, I'm going to make sure I don't step in cat puke. We're going to talk about follow-up. I got like stir hamburger and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to talk about follow-up. This is something that we've talked about multiple times. So this is nothing new or groundbreaking or anything like that. But what I want to tell you guys, hold on. Multitasking, hold on. Okay, what I want to tell you guys is having a system is incredibly helpful. And the reason for that is I've found out that a lot of consultants spend a lot of time going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This question gets asked a lot in the directors page, directors and above. What do you do on a daily basis? I don't know what to do on a daily basis. That question gets asked, like when somebody promotes to director, they get to go in this director group, and you would not believe how many people go in there and they're like, okay, everybody who's a star director and above, will you post your daily schedule? What do you do every single day? And to me, it baffles me, but that question is asked a lot. And the reason people ask that is because they don't have a system, they don't have a plan. And systems used to overwhelm me and scare me. In the beginning, I thought, I don't need a system, that's weird, I'm just going to do stuff. Well, what I've come to find out, the busier I've gotten, the bigger we've grown, the more responsibilities that I have, is having a system in place really does help you because there's no thought in it. It's just what you do. You get up or you start your work and you just do the things and there's no thought process behind it. But if you are constantly like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do today, and do I do this today? I don't know if I did this. When was the last time I did that? You spend the majority of your working hours trying to catch up and figure out what to do. So that's why a follow-up system is important. Many systems are important, but that is why a follow-up system is very important. I posted the graphic in the follow-up album about how most people, I can tell you, I purchase from a lot of other direct sales companies, and none of them have ever followed up with me. Not even I think a couple have sent me a thank you card after my purchase, but for the majority of it, they don't even follow up to see if I've got my order. Not even that, or how I liked my product. And it's frustrating because I'm like, dude, I teach my people to do more than that. So follow-up is very important to create those relationships because you know how it feels to not be followed up with, so you do not want your customers to feel like that. And again, it's how you get to know your customers, and then it makes them feel special, and then they come back because you help them make them feel special. Your system will change 432 times. The system that you have now will probably not work for you in 3 or 4 or 5 months or a year. It'll change. And then guess what? Then it'll change again. And then guess what? It'll change again. And it's just the nature of the beast because you're in different seasons of your business and you're in different seasons of your life as to what works. I have changed my follow-up system 5 or 6 times. it takes a while to find out what feels right. And then what feels right for you now when you have like, 30 or 40 customers isn't going to work when you have 150 customers. And it isn't going to work when you have 7 or 8 parties a month. It just isn't. That's just, it's not sustainable, because what you can do now for, 30 or 40 customers is very, very simple compared to, can you repeat that to 150 customers? And more than likely the answer to that is no. So don't freak when your system isn't working. That's when a lot of people like shut down. They're like, oh my gosh, my system's not working, and then they quit. Not necessarily business, but they quit following up because they're like, what I was doing wasn't working. I can't figure it out. So they're done. Don't do that. Just know that you have to tweak it, and that's okay. Your system can be paper. Your system can be digital. Your system can be Amy. I really highly recommend Amy if you do not have a system in place. And like, I started before Amy was a thing, and so I had a system in place, or like in the process of getting systems in place. So switching to Amy for me was just kind of like, I couldn't do it. It just was not something that I could do and wrap my brain around. But if you are newer and you do not have a system in place, get Amy. It is worth the money, because you can just sit at a traffic light and start busting out. It'll tell you who to follow up with. And that's a great way to get you into a system. It'll give you a to-do list every single morning, and it'll tell you who to follow up with. It'll even create the messages. You can go in and tweak the messages to make them sound more like you if you want, but if you don't want to, it sends it for you. You just go in and hit send, and it's that simple. It is a really, really good way to start out, to get consistent with the follow-up. And then as you do follow up more often, that's when you can go in and start tweaking it. And that's when you can go in and be like, okay, I don't like that it's doing this. Here's how I want to do it. Because right now, if you don't have a system, creating a system is hard because you don't have a system. And if you're not consistently following up, you can't create a system because you're not consistently doing it. So it makes it kind of a tricky circle per se, because you don't really know what you're doing. So I really do. And like I said, I don't use Amy. So for me to recommend it to you means something, because you have to start somewhere. And saying, I'm just going to follow up with people, it ain't going to work. You have to have a method to your madness. It's just the way it is. And Amy will get you there if you do not have a system to begin with. If you are a paper and pen kind of chick, write it down. I'm going to turn my light on. Write it down and roll with it. I've done where I created order forms for everybody, and I had it in a binder. And I started where, like, if you ordered in January, you put in the January tab in the order of the date, like first, second, third, fourth. And then then I went to, like, today is what, the 16th? I went to the 16th a month back, and I followed up with all of those. So I would go back to July 16th, and I would go to the July section, and I would go through it, and I would look and see who do I need to follow up with from the 16th. I did that for a really, really long time until I had 3 binders full of customers that I was following up with consistently, and it just became too much. I've done a folder system where I still have them on my desk. I don't use them, and every day I look at them and think I need to get rid of them. But I had it where, I had a paper system. I created the order form, and they went in different folders, and they moved through the folder system, just ordered, just delivered, like couple weeks out and then a month out, and I would just go through each folder every day and see who I needed to follow up with. That one didn't work for me for very long. It did for just a little bit, but not very long. I'm currently using a digital system, and it's working. I've used Streak, I used Trello, and I love Trello. Like, I could not live without Trello. I have to be organized. I just have to. My life is crazy. And as often as my schedule changes in a day, if I wasn't organized, I would never be able to get this stuff done. It just is what me being organized helps allow for the schedule changes to not be that big of a deal. I currently use a Google system, and it works. It does. I still have to tweak it a little bit here and there, but it is getting me more consistent and being genuine with people. You're going to follow up with people and they're never going to answer you. And you know what? It's okay to then not follow up with them anymore. Don't feel bad. If you message somebody like, hey, your stuff got there. Did everything arrive okay? Are you happy with it? Like the delivery follow-up, and you don't hear anything. And then you go like 2 weeks out. All right, how are you loving your stuff? And you still don't hear anything. Do not feel bad not following up with that person anymore. I personally do a newsletter every week. So even if, so everybody gets a newsletter, but I don't follow up with everybody regularly if they don't respond to me, because my time is worth something. So don't feel bad. If you're doing something else, if you're sending a monthly mailer and they're not responding, that's okay. If you're doing a weekly newsletter and they're not responding, that's okay. But if you are not doing a monthly mailer, you're not doing a newsletter, you're not consistent in your VIP group, if you do not have a way to get information to people and then they're not responding, then guess what? They're not going to get the information. You can do an email campaign. You can do email very simply and for free. You can do it on Gmail, and you can schedule your emails and you can create them in Gmail and send it out for free. If you do the BCC for all of your email addresses, then BCC, if you do that and put all the email addresses into the BCC part, nobody will see anybody else's email address. So it looks like it was individually sent to each person, and that's free. That's a free system. It's not super pretty with like all the backgrounds and stuff like that, but it's free, dude. It's free. You can send an email from the workstations. It's a little bit trickier, things like that, but you can send an email from the workstation. I think there's a video in one of the albums. Yeah, one of the albums, like the helpful video album on how to send an email from the workstation. So that's something that you can do for free. So there's no reason not to. Again, get Amy if you do not have a system, but having a follow-up system is important. Think about it from your perspective. We've all purchased something from somebody. Tupperware, Avon, Unique, 31. We have all purchased something from somebody. Did that consultant follow up with you? Did they thank you for your purchase, either via an email or a text or something in the mail? Then did they follow up with your delivery? Did they follow up with you after your delivery? And I bet you the answer to the majority of that is going to be no, or maybe one or two of those items. You do not want to be like everybody else. You want to go above and beyond everybody else, because then that's when we get lumped into that whole like, direct sales people. But if you're going that other step above, people are gonna be like, well, yeah, it's direct sales, but dude, they're real, they're on top of their stuff. That's different. Okay. So following up is important. And right, you have to. It shows you care, and like I said too, it builds that personal relationship. I have become friends with a lot of my customers because of follow-up and talking with them, and I know what they like, so I'm able to tell them ahead of time, like, yo, this is coming and I know you're gonna want it, so that you can do pre-orders, or it still makes you look like you care. As long as you're not being salesy about it. Cider mill. I have a customer who is obsessed with cider mill. So as soon as I knew we were getting it again and cleaning, so back in July, I told her. I have a Nightmare Before Christmas customer who absolutely loves it. Guess what? She knew about Nightmare Before Christmas before anybody else did. There was certain warmers that I will see and I will know. They will scream a customer. But if you do not have that relationship, that follow-up, that communication, you're not going to have it. You can't do that. You're flying blind. You're posting and praying is what it's called, because you're posting, a graphic and hoping somebody likes it. But if you have a relationship with somebody and then that allows you to then reach out individually to somebody. It's a little bit harder when you're new, but it gets easier. Find a system. Don't be afraid to try 32 different systems. It's okay. You have to figure out what works for you. And even if it is, I'm going to sit down on my phone, and every day I'm going to follow up with 5 people, and I'm going to start alphabetically. Do it that way. Whatever works. If you say today I'm going to do everybody with the last name of an A, I'm going to follow with all of these orders. And then tomorrow I'm going to do all the B's. Then do that. But figure out a system, because again, If you don't have a system, you spend the majority of your workday going, I don't know what to do, and you're kind of floundering around and you're not as productive with your time because you don't have a game plan. But if you have a plan, a system in place, things go quicker and easier, and you get more work done. People look at me and they're like, I don't know how you get all that work done. It's because I have a system, I have an order, I have a plan. My things get done very, very quickly because I know exactly what needs to be done, and I get those done. And then after that, the rest of the time, I can prioritize and I can create things and I can work ahead and I can do all those things because I'm not floundering around going, what am I supposed to work on today? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Who do I follow up with? What do I need? I know. So I fought systems in the beginning. I thought they were crazy. I was like, I'm not that person. I don't need systems. I'm organized. I'm an organized person. I don't need a system. Systems help. They really, 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 really do, but do not overcomplicate them. People hear the word system and they overcomplicate it and they freak out. It can be a notebook. It can be a binder. It can be folders. It can be an app on your phone. It can be Google Sheets. It can be a Google Doc. It can be a Trello board. It can be the calendar on your phone where you literally stick names in the calendar of your phone so it'll ding at you. Some people need that audible sound of it dinging at you to remind you to do something. You could do something like that, if they order, put their name in, and okay, they ordered, I want to make sure I, send them a text message in 3 days. Put their name down in 3 days and make it ding at you. Then when you get the email that it's shipping, check your tracking. It's supposed to deliver on the 12th. All right, I want to follow up with them on the 14th to make sure it got there. Put their name on the 14th and a time to follow up with them. It could be something that simple and that free. You just have to go through the actions of putting it in your phone and at the time and things like that. You got to figure it out. Everybody works differently. And like I said, don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it hard. You have to make it work for you in your life, in your business. But figure out a system. If you want to brainstorm on a system, shout at me and I will help you figure one out. But yeah, see, I'm a Google Sheets. I usually Excel, but I did Google Sheets. And yeah, and that's what works for you, that's what works for you. That's the problem, is people try to copy somebody else. They're like, well, she uses blah, 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 and she does it blah, 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 so I'm going to do it that way. Well, guess what? If you're an Excel person, doing it on paper is not going to work for you because that's not how you are. Don't copy somebody else. Be inspired by somebody else to tweak it and make it your own. So yeah, figure out a system. If you need help figuring out a system, let me know. I'm off to finish cooking. Bye.